मुनि में व्यतीतानि जन्मादि तव चार्जुन तानि अहं वेद सर्वाणि न त्वां वेद परन्तप श्री भगवान वाच बहुनि मे व्यतीतानि जन्मानि तव चार्जुन तानि अहं वेद सर्वाणि न त्वां वेद परन्तप. Anybody would like to chant?
Sri Bhagavan Vacha Bahuni me Veditani Janmani Davajarjuna Tanyakam Veda Sarvani Natvam Veta Parantapa.
श्री भगवानुवाच बहुनि मे व्यतीतानि जन्मानि तव चार्जुन तान्यहं वेद सर्वाणि न त्वं वेत्थ परन्तप.
Okay.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam vetha parantapa.
Okay. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, the personality of Godhead said, Bahuni, many, me of mine, Vyatitani have passed, Janmani, births, Tava of yours, Cha, and also, Arjuna, O Arjuna, Tanihi, those, Aham, I, Veda, do know, Sarvani, all, Na, not, Tvam, you, Vetaha, no, Paramtapaha, O subduer of the enemy. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Hold on for one moment. You're all right, right? You all right? Okay. So I'm going to be in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita class. So, continue doing what you're doing, yeah? Oh, you finished? Okay. So if you finished, you can, just like last time, yeah? You can send me the scanned copy, yeah? Oh, thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Hare Bol. It was multitasking on Zoom, where somebody was giving Sri Ishopanishad Bhakti Shastri exams, and I had to supervise it. Yeah, Jai. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The personality of Godhead said, many, many births, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita, 5th chapter, 33rd verse, we have information of many, many incarnations of the Lord. It is stated there, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayauvanam Cha Vede Shudulabam Adulam Atma Bhakta Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who is the original person, absolute, infallible, without beginning. Although expanded into unlimited forms, he is still the same original, the oldest, and the person always appearing as a fresh youth. Such eternal, blissful, and all knowing forms of the Lord are usually not understood by even the best Vedic scholars, but they are always manifest to pure, unalloyed devotees. It is also stated in Brahma Samhita, 5th chapter, 39th verse. Ramadimurti Sukalanyamena Tisnan Nana Avataram Akarodvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Parama Pumanya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda Krishna, who is always situated in various incarnations such as Rama, Nrsimha, and many incarnations and many sub-incarnations as well, but who is the original personality of Godhead known as Krishna and who incarnates personally also. In the Vedas also it is stated that Lord, although one without a second, manifests himself in innumerable forms. He is like the Vaidurya stone which changes color yet still remains one. All these multi-forms are understood by the pure unalloyed devotees, but not by a simple study of the Vedas. Vedesu dulabam adunam atma bhaktao. Devotees like Arjuna are constant companions of the Lord. Whenever the Lord incarnates, the associate devotees also incarnate in order to serve the Lord in different capacities. Arjuna is one of these devotees, and in this verse it is understood that some millions of years ago, when Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to the sun god Vivaswan, Arjuna in different capacity was also present. But the difference between the Lord and Arjuna is that the Lord remembered the incident, whereas Arjuna could not remember. That is the difference between the part and parcel living entity and the Supreme Lord. Although Arjuna is addressed herein as the mighty hero who could subdue the enemies, he is unable to recall what had happened in the various past births. Therefore, a living entity, however great he may be in the material estimation, can never equal the Supreme Lord. Anyone who is a constant companion of the Lord is certainly a liberated person, but he cannot be equal to the Lord. The Lord is described in the Brahma Samhita as infallible, achyuta, which means that he never forgets himself, even though he is in material contact. Therefore, the Lord and the living entity can never be equal in all respects, even if the living entity is as liberated as Arjuna. Although Arjuna is a devotee of the Lord, he sometimes forgets the nature of the Lord. But by the divine grace, a devotee can at once understand the infallible condition of the Lord, whereas a non-devotee or a demon cannot understand this transcendental nature. Consequently, these descriptions in the Gita cannot be understood by demonic brains. Krishna remembered acts which were performed by him millions of years before, but Arjuna could not, despite the fact that both Krishna and Arjuna are eternal in nature. We may also note herein that a living entity forgets him everything due to his change of body, but the Lord remembers because he does not change his Satchidananda body. He is Advaita, which means there is no distinction between his body and himself. Everything in relation to him is spirit, whereas the conditioned soul is different from his material body. And because the Lord's body and self are identical, his position is always different from that of the ordinary living entity. Even when he descends to the material platform, the demons cannot adjust themselves to this transcendental nature of the Lord, which the Lord himself explains in the following verse. Om Agnanatimindasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshulmitan Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manavistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swamrupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Krita Chaitanya Swami Namine. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacha arjuna tani aham veda sarvani natvam veda parantapaha. The personality of God had said, many, many birds, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. So here, from this section, we see from this fifth verse, Lord Krishna is answering this query which Arjuna raised in the fourth verse of this chapter. The beginning verse is Lord explained that how he established this disciplic succession of passing this supreme science of Bhagavad Gita. That he gave this to Vivaswan, right? In the second verse of this chapter. Let's see. Imam Vivaswatan Yogan. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Imam Vivasvate Yogam Praktavan Aham Avyayam Vivaswan Manabhepraha Manu Isvakave Abravit. The personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god, Vivaswan, and Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Iswaku. Right. And then he continues on in the third words. Evam parampara praptam emam rajasya vidu sakalina mahata yoga nashta parantapa. Again, parantapa, O subduer of the enemy. This supreme science was thus received to the chain of disciplic succession, and the saint takings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. Right. So the Lord in the second and third verse established this disciplic succession, that he gave this science millions of years back to Vivaswan, the sun god. But over a period of time, this disciplic succession is broken. So he's giving this instruction again to Arjuna, right, to re-establish the disciplic succession. Oh, Haribol, somebody's phone is vibrating. Yeah, but now, when that happens, Arjuna is saying, oh, how can I understand that? Now, Vivaswan, the sun god, was there millions of years back. And in response to that, Lord Krishna begins this section, right, with this verse, Bahuni me vyatitani, that many, many birds, right, I have passed. You were also there, because the constant companion of the Supreme Lord is always there when the Lord appears. The constant associate of the Lord, like Arjuna, is always there. Like he's there in the form of Narayan, right? The Lord is there in Narayan form. Arjuna is there in the form of Nar. Lord is there when he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Arjuna is there in the form of Ramananda Roy. Right? We were just talking the other day about all the five Pandavas. They appeared as associates of Mahaprabhu in Gaur Lila, right? With King Pandu himself as Bhavananda Roy. And then we have Ramananda Roy, Gopinath Pattanayaka, Vaninath Mishra, and then there are two others. All the five of them appeared, right? So whenever the Lord appears, his close associate appears. But the close associate, the difference is the Lord is the Supreme Lord, while the close associate is still part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Though he is a close associate of the Lord, he is still fallible. He is not infallible. Lord is infallible, Achyuta, right? Lord is Achyuta, infallible. He remembers past, present, and future. The living entity cannot remember past, present, and future. Right? They can hardly have, they have difficulty in remembering the past, and they cannot remember the future. They cannot predict their future. So what's going to happen in the future, right? They have no idea, right? So, but the Lord can, right? The Lord can. So that's the difference between the Supreme Lord and the living entity, right? And then the Lord appears, as we see, in various incarnations. From the Brahma Samhita verses quoted by Srila Prabhupada in the purport, right? All these incarnations are either expansions of the Supreme Lord or expansions of the expansions of the Supreme Lord. But they're all on the Vishnu Tattva platform, right? We have this, later on we will see, in this 5th verse and the 6th verse, Lord is talking about, okay, many, many birds. Now I appeared and you appeared together. So you were also there. He's telling Arjuna that you were also there when I instructed these to be Vishwan, the sun god, millions of years back. That Arjuna was also there, right? Was present when he instructed. But Arjuna cannot remember. He's a living entity. Lord can remember, right? That's the difference between the Lord and the living entity. The Lord, he appears in these various incarnations as we talked about, but now, and all his incarnations are transcendental. All his incarnations are transcendental. His activities are transcendental, right? And later on, we'll see the words where he explains why he appears, right? The reason for why he appears. Now, yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata abhitanama dharmasya tadatmanam sujamyam paritana sadhana vinasya cha duskritam dharma sanstapnartha sambhavami yuge yuge. And then he explains the importance of understanding his activities, right? What happens? What is the benefit when one understands the activities of the Supreme Lord? Janma karma cha me devyam evam yobeti tatvataha tyaktva deyam punajanma naiti mameti swarjuna. His appearance and his activities are transcendental. One who is able to just understand that does not take his birth again in this material world. So, even in this verse, is addressing Arjuna as Parantapa, or subduer of the enemy. That no matter what, from material calculation, a living entity may be very powerful. He could subdue all the enemies. Right? But still, he won't be able to understand. His previous births, he won't remember. And what is going to happen in the future is not going to estimate that. He's not going to be able to estimate that. Right. So that's a special feature of the living entity and the Supreme Lord. We are part and parcels of the Supreme Lord, just like the hand is part and parcel of this whole body. The hand, the real purpose of the hand is to serve the body. But if the hand tries to do its own activity without serving the body, right, what would happen? It won't have any, just like the hand decides to give, no, I want to eat gulab jamun with just my hand because I am whole. He's just a part, but he's trying to understand, think that he's whole. Like the living entity thinking that, instead of this insignificant living entity, I am the Supreme Lord. Right? Many living entities pose themselves, or they say, I don't know whether I'm the Lord or not, but others are telling that I'm the Lord, so I may be the Lord. Right. But he is not able to understand his past. He is not able to understand his future, but still is ready to accept, claim that, oh, I may be Lord, or I'm the Lord. Right. That is like thinking the hand is revolting and telling, oh, I'm the whole body. Why I have to feed the stomach? Right, by feeding the mouth. Why do I have to do that? Let me enjoy by myself. Right. And if it tries to do that, would it be able to enjoy himself? No. The enjoyment will come only when he will be engaged, the hand will be engaged in the service of the body. Similarly, the real enjoyment comes to the living entity only when the living entity is engaged in the service of the Lord. Without serving the Lord, there is no enjoyment. He may externally think that, oh, no, I'm fully independent, I'm Swarat, I can enjoy myself, Atmanam, fully satisfied. No. But that is for the Supreme Lord. For himself, at each and every moment he is suffering. Tapatraya, right, is triple form of miseries in form of Adi Devika, Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika, and the miseries which are embedded as soon as he takes birth. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, right? Birth, death, old age, and disease. So at each and every moment he is suffering. But his real position to really enjoy is by serving the Supreme Lord. Like the real position of the hand to really enjoy is by utilizing itself in the service of the whole, the body. Right. Similarly, the living entity, if it really wants to enjoy, it needs to engage itself in the service of the Lord. Right. And then there is no unlimited amount of services, unlimited amount of bliss. That Shakti for that service is also provided by the Supreme Lord. Right? A lame man can cross mountains. How come it's possible? It's possible by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Right? A dumb man could speak and speak, give lectures. How is that possible? By the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So we just have to desire to be engaged in the service of the Lord, and the Lord somehow, fulfills that. Like that 2 fingers, we endeavor to serve the Supreme Lord. We endeavor to serve the Supreme Lord. Right? We endeavor to serve the Supreme Lord. But when we endeavor, then the Lord gives mercy. Right? Only by endeavoring and by getting the mercy of the Lord, we will be able to serve the Lord. We will be able to get the Lord. Or we'll be able to get the Lord. So that's the special. Once we'll endeavor, the Lord will bestow mercy. Not that, without endeavoring. Now, if I don't endeavor, nothing is going to happen. Right? For any service, we have to endeavor. Even from the material calculation, if we want to run a race, I have to endeavor to practice continuously to be qualified enough to run that race. If I want to be in exam, I have to endeavor continuously. Right? to prepare for that exams. Right? To prepare for that exams. So, but in the case of devotional service, it's our endeavor and the Lord's mercy. So it makes it possible. Nothing in this world, nothing is in our hand. Right? Nothing is in our hand. The Lord's mercy. Right? Are there any questions? I can take questions.
Haribol, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, I have a request and a question. So first, if you could fulfill the request, if you could please share with other devotees what you and I were talking the other day of the experience you had at workplace. And the reason I'm saying this, Prabhu, is we understand philosophy, we understand, shlokas and whatever is explained in these classes. But what you shared with me, I found very significant because how it is implemented in real life situations. So what you faced and the dependence on Krishna aspect with your boss, if you share them, that would be very nice. And then later on, I can ask the question. If you can.
Hey, Haribol, Jai.
Thank you.
Well, just like all of you, I also work in this material world outside, apart from the service of the Supreme Lord in the temple. And that work, work in the medical device manufacturing company as a chemical engineer. And few days back, that's what I was sharing with Amritananda Prabhu, 2 days back. My boss had sent me an email for Q1 performance. I don't know. And I've been working for this company for the last 5 years, and none of this time this has happened, that there's a Q1 performance plan. And this was a Q1 performance plan. And then the day, so I was sharing, even while going on that day, I cannot, something could be happening, something could be cooking. And then that day I met different people while coming to work. The human resource manager also said, "Oh, is everything all right?" And I said, "Okay." And suddenly I'm at my desk and at my office, and I get another email from my boss saying, "Okay, when we meet today at this time, also bring your laptop." And I said, "Okay, time has come. Let me prepare." So first of all, I backed up all my important files which I might need later on. It's not work related, but my work computer is also my many times my personal files are there in it. So I backed up all my personal files and completely got ready that, hey, whether I work for a boss, I do not work. My supreme boss is the Supreme Lord. That, I should not forget, because I have a picture of Radha Krishna right in front of me. So I should not forget to take them. Everything else is immaterial. Let me just start prepare mentally to, that's it. And and I'm at a stage where and I've been meditating for the last few years about as such Hari bowling. That's what they're saying. our ISKCON line. We Hari Bol. Okay, forget about material job. That's just full-time serve the Supreme Lord. And years back, now I had done that when I had started this Bhakti Vriksha Sangha at Amritananda Prabhu's place in 95. 96, I had decided that, okay, that's it. I don't want to continue on working. I wrapped up my apartment, if Amritananda Prabhu remembers, in Parlin, New Jersey. My mother's mother also helped in packing my bags. And I said, okay, that's it. I'm ready to go. And I was going to go to Vrindavan and stay there. And at that time, I was aspiring from my Guru Maharaj, not yet initiated. My Guru Maharaj met me to work, and he said, oh, why don't you try it out initially? So now, just as Amritananda was mentioning about this, okay, practical application of the instructions. Like the beginning of the 3rd chapter, he instructed me, that, okay, why no, instead of renouncing your activity, renounce the results of your activity. Instead of renouncing the activity, renounce the results of your activity. Because if you are not sufficiently qualified yet to renounce completely your activity, you'll be on the platform of Falgu Vairagya, monkey Vairagya. Right. You'll be on the platform of monkey Vairagya. So I kind of followed those instructions. That I took there's something called a provision of family leave at job. So took a couple of months off from work that I just want to check out my renunciation. So I sold off my apartment. Gave back my apartment for my lease, and wound up everything and went to Vrindavan and stayed there for 2 months. And personally realized that, hey, I'm not qualified yet to completely renounce the activity itself, which is my work. So instead, I can try to renounce the results of my activity, which is my paycheck. So for 4 years, I did not take any pay per se. Whatever will come, I would give to my spiritual master for spreading Krishna consciousness. 4 years from, and at that time, somehow my company's project was also in India. So Bhagavad Gita personally could be applied in day-to-day life. That's how I have realized it could be personally be applied in day-to-day life. And each and every moment, the only thing which we can do is depend on the Supreme Lord. Remember, 4 or 5 years, that was when? 2014 or 2012 or something like that. 12. Yeah, 2012, something, where similar situation. No, we all have this different things which you go through, and now my company at that time worked for 21 years at Merck, was acquired by other company, and they closed down their site, and quote unquote, I was separated from the company. And I just said, okay, let me just depend on the Supreme Lord. And to depend on the Supreme Lord, somehow other Lord provides. Not a single day I have felt like, I don't get my food. Lord provides. In fact, if at all, if I'm could be suffering is from overeating, then undereating, malnourished, because somehow other, I'm always around prasadam. Helping out in Govindas, always around prasadam. Serving in the temple, devotees inviting, this, that, always around prasadam. So the Lord's mercy is always there. Right. More we depend on the Supreme Lord, no. We are relieved from any kind of anxiety. And 2 days back, last thing which I had was any anxiety. I was ready. Okay, that's it. I'm ready. Now I have to earn my livelihood, to pay my mortgage or this or that. I can do so many other services outside. When Krishna will provide in some way. That's that each and every moment. We are not going to get a notice that okay, Parikshit Maharaj got a notice of 7 days. Each and every one is not going to get that notice. So we should be ready that what may happen. Somehow or other, if I have the shelter of the Supreme Lord, that's all we need. Apart from that, I think, and I thank my spiritual master, the mercy of all the Vaishnavas, like all of you, that somehow, if I can remain in that consciousness, I will think that my life is worthwhile. Hare Krishna. Very good.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So if somebody else has a question, they can ask. I always ask questions, so I will defer if somebody else has. Otherwise, if no one has, then I can ask you my question. Anybody? Okay, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I ask a small question?
Yes, ma'am.
Please.
Prabhuji, you're talking about depending on Krishna. So, what is that thin line between being lethargic and saying I'm depending on Krishna, and constantly keep trying for what we want and then depend on Krishna? Like, how do we know that? I mean, this is what we need to do in terms of pushing ourselves enough and start saying that we are depending on Krishna. Like, what is that thin line, Prabhuji? Sometimes it gets very tricky to understand.
Yeah, very good question, Mataji. In fact, one of the this Niskam Karma Yoga which we learned in the 3rd chapter, one of the drawback of Niskam Karma Yoga is, and Lord himself mentions, don't be lethargic. Means while conducting Niskam Karma Yoga, don't be lethargic. Because a person could become lethargic that, if I am not going to get, if I'm not attached to the results of my activity, why should I be attached to the activity itself and may be lethargic to conduct the activity to begin with? It's a very nice question, Mataji. And yes, in the service of the Lord, we should not be lethargic. Right. We always be on our toes. But in whatever service the Lord engages us, we should be ready. Right? If from our endeavor we are doing some service and some drawbacks comes in that service, we should not say, "Oh, world is over." Right? Take up some other service. Right? If I'm going to my work and come tomorrow, my work says Hari Bol, that's not the end of the world. My boss is not the supreme boss. The supreme boss is the Supreme Lord. Right? And in his kingdom, there is no Hari Bol. Niha Vikramana Swasti Pratyavayana Vidyate. There is no loss or diminution. Any service which you perform in the Supreme Lord's world, there is no loss or diminution in his service. So, practically we can apply that. But as you mentioned, not at all be lethargic about it. Mai Sarvani Karmani. What is that words from the 3rd chapter? which is a concluding chapter, concluding message about this Niskam Karma Yoga. Somebody can search it up. It's very nice words where of this Niskam Karma Yoga, where Lord is mentioning that hey, don't be lethargic. Because it could happen that if ultimately if I have to give my results of the activity, why should I perform the activity to begin with? Right. So one can become lethargic to perform that activity itself. Right. So if I have to fight for you, okay, I'm not going to pay much attention. So Lord is kind of inspiring. No, you have to fight with all your valor. Results are not in your hand. That does not mean that you should not fight with all your valor. So similarly, when we are dependent on the Supreme Lord, that does not mean that we should not go third chapter 45th words or something. Mai sarvani karmani. That could be the words.
30, that is 30th verse.
Whatever that.
Mai sarvani karmani sannyasya adhyatma chetasa.
Yeah, that words.
Nirasiddha nirmamo bhutva yuddhasya vipadachara.
Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desire for profit, with no claims of proprietorship, and free from lethargy. Fight. Right? Free from lethargy. Vigata jwaraha, without being lethargic. Fight. Right? So that's a culmination of it talks about Niskam Karma Yoga with full knowledge of me. You perform it with full knowledge of me, right? Without desires for profit. So it's Niskam, right? With no claims to proprietorship, no ownership. And free from lethargy, fight. But because you have no ownership, because you don't have any desire, you're not doing it for any results, that does not mean that you should not be fully fighting with all your focus, right? So that's why Krishna is instructing, do not be lethargic in this particular activity. So that's where, is that all right, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Yeah, that explains it.
Okay. Okay. You can unshare this, Shimesh Prabhu, you are sharing it or? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Amritananda Prabhu.
Prabhu, it says Krishna told Arjuna in this verse, right? There have been many births. You've forgotten, but I haven't forgotten. Now we also understand that Arjuna is Krishna's eternal associate.
Yeah.
So they come from another transcendental place over here for the Leela, and we get instructions and all that. That is understandable. My question is, Prabhu, in that transcendental world, the spiritual world, everyone has a spiritual body. So forgetting, like even I was once upon a time with Krishna, that envy and all that. So that's why I came in material world.
Yeah.
Material body. And this material body is avidya.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trapped in, I forget my previous life and everything. Yeah. So how is it? Did Arjun get a material body when he comes here? Does Mother Yashoda, when they come to the earth Vrindavan, Bhauma Vrindavan, because I thought that eternal associate means they also have spiritual body. So where does this forgetfulness come from?
Yeah, very good. So eternal associate gets a spiritual body in the spiritual world. But when they come down, they take a material body. Like this. Yeah. They take a material body when they come down. Like Mother Jashoda, yeah, she takes a material body. Similarly, Arjuna takes a material body. The eternal associate of the Supreme Lord is always there with the Supreme Lord. He was there with the Supreme Lord in all his previous incarnations. He is there with the Supreme Lord in this Lila also. And he is there with the Supreme Lord even in Gaur-Lila.
So in Gaur-Lila, the Pancha Tattva other than Shrivas are all Vishnu Tattvas, correct, Prabhu?
3 are Vishnu Tattvas and 1 is Shakti Tattva.
Shakti Tattva, correct. And so does Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu and Shrivas Prabhu have material bodies or they are spiritual?
Well, in one form, just like Gadadhar Pandit is spiritual, it's Srimati Radharani or Sal. Right? Internal energy of the Supreme Lord. It's spiritual. So their appearance, like the Vishnu Tattva, the appearance is not normal. And the disappearance is also not normal. Right? When the Lord, just like we see about Lord Ramachandra, when he unwinds his pastime, they all enter into this Sarayu river. Right? Mother Sita enters into the earth. Right? Lord Krishna, we see unwinding his pastimes. We heard about this pastime about the Jara and all the hunter and all those, special arrow made from the rod which comes out of Samba, right? So all those kind of special arrangement. It's not ordinary, and that also could not affect the Supreme Lord. The Lord takes that, okay, to wrap up his Leela. Right, and then takes his carrier to go back to the spiritual realm. Right. But sometimes they may leave their so-called body behind, or sometimes they may merge into the deity. Yes, Gauranga Mahaprabhu merges into Tata Gopinath deity. Lord Nityananda merges into the deity. Right? But otherwise, they may leave the body or something. But it's not normal. The disappearance is also transcendental, the appearance is also transcendental. Right? Similarly, the close associate of the Supreme Lord, their appearance is also not ordinary, like ordinary. It's just like Arjuna appearing, Lord Indra personally, right? By Mother Kunti chanting a mantra, Lord Indra appears and suddenly Arjuna is born. It's not ordinary. But still a living entity. Part and parcel of the Supreme Lord is not the Lord himself. Right. And they are cognizant of that also. So Karpane Dosha Pradasabhava. He surrenders to the Supreme Lord as the spiritual master. As a disciple surrendering to a spiritual master. Accepts the Lord as a spiritual master. Is that all right?
Yes, Prabhu. Clarified. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's 8 o'clock. Yes. Shimeshwar Prabhu.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for wonderful realizations, sharing practical applications. It's very helpful for everyone. It's exactly the message of Bhagavad Gita. Many points, many times, Arjuna is bewildering, don't know what to do. So this is exact the point of learning Bhagavad Gita, the practical applications. Thank you so much for sharing such wonderful points.
Dear devotee, dear friend, Amrita Prabhu, that's me.
Yeah, that's what it is, right? This all happens. Potent and potency is all coming from the same source.
Yeah, Sangha.
Sangha.
Most important.
Very nice. Thank you. So a few announcements. Do you want to read the announcements? Quickly. Everybody new here.
Okay. Special weekend coming by.
Yeah.
Very important weekend. Please take full benefit of this wonderful weekend, which is coming by. Tomorrow can be absorbed in Gaur Katha from 9 to 10:30 by His Holiness Satchidanand Maharaj. Sunday in the morning from 8 to 9, hearing from Gauranga Prabhu, preparing ourselves for this appearance of the most munificent incarnation of the Supreme Lord. And at 10 o'clock, right, there's a Shiksha program. So those who like to take the vows, it's a very auspicious day to take vows to re-establish our commitment to the Supreme Lord. It's fasting till moonrise. It can increase, be fully absorbed in serving the Lord. There are various services. Please contact Sumesha Prabhu. We can engage you. We have some standard in our DT kitchen. You can go and serve. If you are double initiated, right, you can cook for the Lord directly. Helping, first initiation is fine, but you can cook for the Lord, double initiation. So we are looking similarly for double vaccinated volunteers, not initiated, double vaccinated volunteers. And if you are still, for some special services, we are looking for double vaccinated volunteers. But for other services, please contact also Simeshwar Prabhu. But if you are double vaccinated, please also highlight yourself, contact one of us so that we can engage you. We have more protection where you can serve the Supreme Lord directly, being in contact with people. Following safety precautions. So that's on Sunday. From 4 to 7, we'll be having a program. Now the program is a registration thing, so you can register in one of the time. Shimeshwar Prabhu, we are going to send out the emails. Said we're going to send out emails, or they should be getting emails.
We sent out the the emails were out, and the WhatsApp messages there in the all groups.
No, but they will also get, once they register, they will also get that. Okay.
No. I just mentioned that in my text message. They just get a confirmation message that you are registered.
I see. Okay.
In the web page itself, it doesn't send the email out.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I just mentioned that in my text today.
Okay.
You'll get a text message, Prabhu, or it'll come as
no.
email.
You confirm. You as soon as you register, you get a page that itself that you're registered.
Okay.
You're confirmed. There's no need of just because you're already mentioned. There is no limit for there is no set for any limit or anything like that.
So we're planning this event so that it can be carried out in a safe, Krishna conscious way, and by fully being absorbed in the service. You get this wonderful darshan of the Supreme Lord, decorated with new outfits, with new shingar, wonderful flower decorations and all. So take that wonderful opportunity, bathe the Lord, do the Abhishek. Also, just as we go to a birthday of a child, this is the birthday of the Supreme Lord. So the Shastra says, what is that? If you perform a devotional service on the day Madhav Titi Bhaktati Janani, on the day of Madhav Titi Bhakti Janani, it's the benefit of that multiplies many times. So take that wonderful opportunity to serve in any capacity we can. If you cannot make it to the temple also, just like we see Gauri Mataji is on the call, she's calling people and says so many, giving out the mercy of the Supreme Lord by distributing books, right by calling, right from your home. So there is so many different ways you can serve the Supreme Lord in any conditions. Right? And Simeshwar Prabhu can share furthermore.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. Thank you so much, dear devotees. Please join this wonderful yatra, wonderful service, wonderful way of serving the Supreme. There are so many opportunities, so many avenues. You can pick any one of those. It will be as equal as you do the all other service. Thank you so much. See you all on Sunday. And so let's conclude today's session. Let's pay our obeisance to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Vanja kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhyev cha padidhanam bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Premanande.
Hari
Thank you,
Om.
Madhupati Prabhu.
Thank
Thank you, Madhupati.